favor? Opposed, motion carries. Authorization for payment of bills. Are there any questions? There are no questions. I'll entertain a motion for approval of the payment of bills.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Citizens communications. Wanna read this whole thing? Okay. Knox County R1 After Prom Committee. Dear friends, family, businesses, and community leaders, the Knox County After Prom Committee is a group of hardworking junior and senior parents who volunteer to organize and host a safe and substance-free event held immediately following prom each year. To make this happen, the committee relies heavily on donations from the community. We are needing your help again this year to make this event happen. For the past 2 years, we have bused the students to Quincy right after the dance to keep the party safely going. The event was held at Scotty's Fun Spot in 2024 and Crazy Town Trampoline Park in 2025. The kids loved it and we're planning to return to Crazy Town in 2026. Prom is scheduled for April 25, 2026. The kids will have access to all the amenities Crazy Town has to offer, along with bingo, board games, and all-night snacks. Again this year, we will need to charter 2 buses to transport everyone there and back safely. We are looking for individuals, businesses, and organizations to sponsor a bus or half a bus. Alternatively, we would greatly appreciate cash donations in any amount to help us pay for the rental of Crazy Town. We are also looking for donations of gift cards, gift certificates, or items to be given away as prizes. We will appreciate anything you are able to give. Your donation may be mailed to the school address above to the attention of the Knox County After Prom. If you are sending a check, please make it payable to Knox County After Prom. Donated items can be dropped off at 402 West Lafayette, Bobby Clark's office. Should you need an item picked up, please contact Bobby Clark at 660-341-1233 or one of the committee members listed below. Also, if you need a receipt for the tax purposes, please let us know and we will be happy to provide one for you. We greatly appreciate your support and thank you in advance for your contribution to our Knox County students. Sincerely, Knox County After Prom Committee members. Read who they are. Okay. We're on to administrators report, elementary.
All right, so for our past events, on the 16th, we had Pancakes for Parents that was hosted by FCCLA, and they made over $600, so a very big turnout for that. We had parent-teacher conferences, October 22nd and 23rd. They were very well attended. We had over 300 meetings held with parents over a 2-night span. Those were parents meeting multiple children and all of that, but lots of parents in and out of the building, which was great. On the 27th, we had our honor roll assembly. We changed the name to Eagle Excellence Assembly because we not only honored our honor roll students, but we also honored those who had received a positive office referral, the classrooms who had received Golden Eagle Awards, Elvis Eagle was in attendance, and we honored the students of the month. We started that this year to kind of mimic the middle school, high school, and so each month the students are chosen by their teachers, and then they get to choose a shirt from the nest. So they all wore those to the assembly as well. We had 81 on our A honor, excuse me, 81 on our A honor roll and 14 on our B honor roll. That was for our 3rd through 5th graders. On November 11th, we hosted our first learning walk. So we had 5 different elementary teachers that were hosts, and they each had 3 time slots. And almost all of our teachers participated. And then at our staff meeting, I kind of asked for suggestions for next time. Just offering having more choices for classrooms for them to visit was a suggestion, but it went really well. On the 6th, our 3rd graders went to Jefferson City. They had a great time at the Capitol. On November 10th, we had a staff meeting. We played a quick game, kind of went over our dates and midterms, other things that were coming up. Our Veterans Day Assembly was a big hit on the 11th. They believe they served around 160 for breakfast that day. We had great feedback from the community. One parent stopped in the office. He had never attended before, and he had great things to say. He said he can't wait for next year. He had no idea how big of an event it was, so he had great things to say about that. The elementary Mrs. Cardwell worked with the elementary students and made the giant flag with all of their self-portraits, and that's now hanging in our morning meeting room, so that's on display. It looks great. We had an author visit on the 13th. Susanna Lynn came with Buddy the Blue Corgi, and she brought another dog, Winnie, and that was a big hit with all the kids. They loved seeing the dogs, and she had lots of book orders. So things going well. Excuse me, the learning walk, just going to work to make that even better next time. I feel like school spirit is going really well. Thanks a lot to, Becky and Lori, the high school student council sponsor. They really encouraged that, but our elementary kids were even excited about the esports school dress up days, so that's going really well. Our kindergartners are done with their testing. They did a great job with that. And some upcoming events. Activity night is on Thursday. So we have about 92 students that are going to stay after from 3:30 to 5:30. The theme is Pumpkin Palooza, and all the teachers have planned literacy and math games. And then some of the specialists will have a craft and a snack and things for them to do. And there'll also be a title meeting for the parents. So that's Thursday. And then our Christmas concerts and the book fair are coming up on December 10th and 11th. And we have something new we're going to try this year. Our PBIS incentive party is usually in December, but this time it's going to be a field trip. And we're going to take the students who qualify from 1st through 5th grade to Truman to watch a women's basketball game. So in order to go, they have to have no more than one major, no more than 3 minors, and they can't be failing any core classes. So the students that qualify will get to go on that field trip and go to Truman. So we're excited for that.
How many kids do you think that'll be, just an estimate?
The max we said was going to be 172, but that was with if every single kid got to go. There's some who already don't qualify. So last time there was, I think, about 20 who didn't get to participate. So probably around 150. There's going to be over 1,000 kids in attendance. It's not just our school. It's all kinds of schools in the area.
Explain to me the learning walk. I don't know what that is.
So teachers teachers got to sign up and said, yes, I'll be a host. And then other teachers said, these are things I'm interested in seeing. Like might want to see a math lesson, or I want to see how you do classroom management, or whatever they wanted to see. And then I built a schedule based on just times they were available. And then when the teacher either had a planned time, or they could reach out to me and say, hey, I see that Melissa's teaching math at 9:30, that's not my planned time. So then I went and covered for the teacher who wanted to go watch Melissa, and they could go see how they teach math.
Okay.
And
It's for the
then-
teachers rather than the
Yes,
students.
yeah, the teachers walk around and just observe other teachers.
How often are you gonna do that?
Well, my goal right now, I have another one scheduled in December, so December's looking a little crazy though, so we might have to move that back.
I was anticipating like once a quarter, but that sounds like once a month.
Well, we're gonna see how it goes.
Oh.
They liked it, so.
Okay, in the high school, middle school, just kind of hitting some past events that have happened, some of the big ones. End of October, we had our first quarter celebrations for middle school and high school, so it was right after our last board meeting. So what we do with that, it's kind of like the honor roll, but we recognize the students who have A and B honor roll, who have high attendance, and who have good behavior. In the middle school, we've done that probably like 5 or 6 years. We decided to also bring it up to the high school this year. So we did the same thing for high schoolers, and the high schoolers really enjoyed it. We played I put it on Facebook, we played a whole cup game. Every high schooler's got to come on the court and play the game. And we ended up with one winner at the very end. They all get prizes based on if they're on the A honor roll, B honor roll, or if they, we do soaring and skyward eagles, which go with their honor roll and their attendance and their behavior. So a lot of students get recognized. And the high schoolers, we ended with the singing of the school song. So just trying to pump that school pride. And we have a lot of high schoolers right now who are really eager to participate a lot. You can see in the football games, they're just hyped for school pride and school spirit. So we're just trying to play on that. Also, we had FAFSA Frenzy. Miss Delaney hosted FAFSA Frenzy on October 27th. We had 14 seniors in attendance, and she was pretty pleased with that amount.
I think compared to the last year, it was high attendance, which we do have a big senior class, but she was excited for that. Football season ended on Friday, ended 10-0, conference champs and best record in school history. And Mr. Carper said, after just counting the money, we had at least 847 people paid. So that doesn't include like people who are on the pass list and things like that. So it was a huge turnout for our community. Basketball, our high school basketball starts this Friday. There's a jamboree at Canton. And right now we have 21 boys out and 9 girls out for varsity basketball. So boys, we have a lot of boys out and we have 9 girls. So also, Ms. Setzer already talked about it, but esports, they partnered with the organization Extra Life to help raise money for our local Children's Miracle Network Hospital, which local is in St. Louis. But they have so far raised almost $1,200. They're in a competition within the MOSEF, organization, which is like MISHA for esports. So they're trying to raise the most money. I'm not sure where they fall within everyone else. But last week they hosted a chess tournament, which they did have quite a few people out here. Miss Lucas was pleased by the turnout. They had a students versus teacher game challenge last Wednesday after school, and then they did a free donation bake sale, and they've done some spirit days throughout the school. So they every student's been able to dress up. So today was PJ day, so that was fun. Some other things: the chicken coop is completely enclosed. Mr. Green said so. Now just waiting for Ms. Dobrinsky to decide what she wants the inside to look like, but that's all enclosed. This Thursday will be the Thanksgiving feast with the first graders and the foods class. So Mrs. Hutchman's getting prepared for that. The middle school and high school students are currently hosting a food drive. They are going to donate. I'm not 100% sure. They were tossing around the idea to donate to the food pantry and the nutrition site. So they're not really sure if they're going to do both or just one this year. We have been in the high school and middle school staff. We've been doing a grateful turkey activity for all staff. So all staff got a turkey, and then they randomly came to the office and grabbed 6 feathers. And on the back of it had a teacher or a staff member's name, and they just had to write something that they, thanking them for being part of the staff, or just something that they do to support the staff and each other. So everybody should have 6 feathers. Just a fun activity to keep morale up around this time. And some band updates. Miss Blake, the band got first place at the Culver Stockton Homecoming Parade, and Rua Park and Elijah Reel made all district band. Elijah Reel has actually made it every year, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and I think he's the only one in school history that has done that so far. They will audition for All-State Band the 6th of December. And then the choir will have their Christmas dinner theater Saturday, December 13th at the community center. And the tickets are not on sale for that yet. So that's something that's coming up. So, and also in my board report, I just have some pictures. I like to take pictures as I'm out and about, but Mr. Green was teaching, they got a new saw. So he was teaching his electrical class how to figure the ampage and the wattage they need to set up the new saw. So I went in there, observed that. Child Development was doing a baby lab with their simulations, or their baby simulators, and they're figuring out how to care for a baby in Ms. Hutchman's class. And then the greenhouse students are harvesting lettuce with the hydroponic. It's not the tower, it's the bed. I don't know what it's called exactly. Table, there you go. So that was their first harvest of lettuce for the kitchen. So there's just some other things that are going on in the high school and middle school.
Okay, so federal programs, just got back from the federal programs conference. We are in tiered monitoring for federal programs. So we have an October cycle, a January cycle, and an April cycle that we have to submit documents in. So I spent a lot of time in what does that look like and what do we have to submit. So I learned a lot while I was gone. So I've got my notebook of things to process and digest now that I'm back. In the special ed world, we have received 1 referral since our last meeting. So we're still in that evaluation evaluation process, when we get those, we have to collect data from parents, from teachers, and then make those referrals from there and determine whether or not we want to test and what to do with that. We have completed 2 504s since the last time we met, so we're still working hard in the SPED world. We are under file review, so we have started meeting weekly to do what I would call like an internal audit of our files. We have to choose 10 to submit to the state. And so right now we're working on 6 that we are kind of combing through with a fine-tooth comb, and then we'll send those to the co-op and they'll tell us whether or not they think that those are appropriate or if those meet what our guidelines are. And then we'll send some more to them, and then we have to put those into it's called the IMAX system that we submit to DESE, and then we'll get information on that as to what we need to do with those files. So we're working. We do have Sarah Rail coming in November to work with our buildings. Is it the 25th? Thank you. I thought it was 25th, but I didn't want to put that in there. Coming on the 25th to work between the 2 buildings with teachers who are still continuing to work on their curriculum processes. Everybody's kind of in a different place, but we're still continuing to work on that. October cycle was completed on time, so like I said, now we just move on to the next one. And then PAT, so parents as teachers. Tonight we're gonna have Roberta give you an update on PAT. What we have learned, she and I being new into this role and us sitting through some meetings, is that we should really do a program and service evaluation of PAT. So we will do that in June, but we wanna give you hey, this is what PAT is, just kind of where we're at now, and then we'll get into that regular rotation with it. So I'm gonna let Roberta talk about PAT.
All right. First of all, I just want to say I'm very happy to be here. I really am. This year has kind of been exciting this year. I've enjoyed working with Melissa so far. So parents as teachers, I don't know how many of you are familiar with it, but I think most of you, if not all of you, are. Parents as Teachers is a program that is basically me helping the families help their kids get ready for school, that school readiness. We do screenings, and I have visits in home or either in my room. We have visits monthly, or we can do twice a month depending on what the family needs. So we get together and we do an activity that is age appropriate for the child that I am visiting with, and then we talk about a variety of topics. And there is a curriculum that you follow when you're working with these families, at least through the first few visits. And then it kind of is just structured according to what they need, what they want to talk about. But there's a variety of topics that we do go over, and it's fun to get to see the children from this age and kind of, up until kindergarten. That is what I see. I see anywhere from prenatal to kindergarten. Once they're in kindergarten, then they exit out of the program, and but it's been fun. I have a new program this year that I haven't ever worked with before. It's called Visit Tracker. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but it has been basically a godsend in helping us do our reporting that we've done so far. So I'm glad to have that, and it's been a good year. So
I got a question for you.
yes.
How many people do you see individually? Like not in an activity night, but how many do you see either in your?
So right now I have about 54 families.
Okay, that's nice.
I ran my report. 54 families, 67 kids and that does include, so if a family is not enrolled in Parents as Teachers, and they're in preschool, I still have to see them, and we decided once a semester. So I still have them that I see once a semester, but then my other families I see monthly, if not twice a month. So those are all included here. I am slowly, this has been kind of a exciting week and a half. Some of those families that I did not have enrolled that were in preschool, I got them to enroll. So it's been fun. It really has. It's been an exciting year so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying working with Melissa, so, it's going good. So, any questions?
What's the activity night in the fall? What are you doing?
It's actually on Monday, and it's, just, we're gonna make some turkeys, and we're gonna read and have, a snack. So, that is on Monday,
activity.
so, yeah. And then I do my big Christmas one too.
How's your participation been for those events?
For the activity nights, so every year I start off with my popsicles in the park. That's always a huge success. I got back to doing the reading with the football players. That didn't have the turnout this time that I had always hoped for, and I don't know if there was something else that was keeping families there, but it was still fun. The football boys did a wonderful job. I've gotten some input about what I can do for next time, which I include any input. Anybody that wants to, send some ideas my way, I am more than welcome, more than happy to hear all of those. So, but yeah, and I just started, I did a reading hour at the library this past Saturday. I had 5 families. So, it's going good. So,
Yeah, we're looking for some new ways to make connections, so we've talked about getting into daycares. The library hour was one that we had of a way of maybe being able to catch families that we didn't see or who don't have older siblings within school or don't know what PAT was, so.
really getting connected with Head Start also
Yep.
again. So getting in. So if anyone knows of families that I'm not thinking of or don't reach, please send them my way. So,
Do you have any participation from the Mennonite community?
I did when I first started. I actually had a Mennonite family when I first started, and they kind of get out of that. They didn't.
Curious if they were,
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, I did when we first started. But so. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank
Great
you.
job.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're good?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
All right, for me, maintenance-wise, Gary and Jason have done an excellent job kind of keeping up with everything as we've had some bigger issues occur from the start of the school year. But as of right now, they're really working on making sure we're winterizing the outdoor spaces, softball field, baseball field, football field, as we transition into the colder weather. Everything's looking nice and prepared for the basketball season, so it's been great to see that. Transportation, Lacey, Casey, Joe and I went to Macon, I believe last week, to see the updates to the inspection process for buses. So basically it's going all online, so we'll have to have all the buses in there. We had to have them in as of Friday, and then that process will now all be electronic, so they'll come in with their crew just like they've always had, but it used to be paper pencil and they had different stations, and that'll all be inputted electronically. So there'll be some bugs to work out, but it should make the process a little bit more easier to report down the road. A couple things with finance. So we continue to tracking our Fund 10 and Fund 20. If you remember last month, we talked about that a little bit as we got ready for that tax anticipation note. And just wanted to give you some general comparisons, what we've had going back to 2022 with our 10 and 20 funds. So our expenditure, so what we spent in 2022 in September, October, and November was 1.89 million. In 2023, it was 2.02 million. 2024, 2.27 million, and this year we're back down to 1.96 million. So it's our lowest amount of expenditures we've had in Fund 10 and Fund 20 through the first 3 months of the school year since 2022. So we're trending in the right direction. We made some cuts in certain places, and it's definitely good to see some of that savings starting to occur. I called Cordelio, kind of interested in that same thought process, what their plans were. I talked to them, very nice person. I was talking about what was going on in the county, what was going on the national level, and really they pushed back that timeline of what they're really willing to commit to on when they'll start it and when they'll finish it. I think right now, 2029, 2030 would be something that would be in their time range right now. So I don't know, there was no specifics, but just the general feel from it was that timing. So it's nothing that would be imminent for sure. There is a transmission line that they're putting in, but as of right now, we don't know how that'll affect or what that'll be yet. So a little information on that. And then finally, I did have someone inquire about a daycare and what that would look like if we were to host that here at school. So I sent out an email and talked to a couple different school districts that do host that currently, and basically this what they're asking if we could do it and take in community members basically, and I didn't know. We talked about doing that in 2022 and what that would look like for us. We talked about if it would be for staff or for everybody or what that would look like. And basically all the people all the school districts that I spoke to said that they do it for staff only. And if they have openings from there, then they would fill it with local ones. So that wouldn't really fill the niche that I think that people are asking about, but we'll continue to ask, or I'll continue to ask questions and see where that goes. But that's, I just had that question raised this year, or last of this month. And that's all from that.
Move on to food service report.
Food service report, I'll have to reattach the food service report, that's the September one. She continues to have, or is that the right one? Did I say so?
October meals is
Oh.
October's.
Mine's not coming up. All right, let me try one more time on mine, maybe I'm on. There we go, mine's right now. Cool. Her Kisha's, her numbers, her lunch, breakfast are both way up. Seen huge participation numbers, the food's great, people are happy. She did share with us about the good news about Crystal and her family, and they had a pretty cool party for her, so it's great to see all that. Kisha's currently had her training for OPA, so she's gone tonight, but things are going well in the kitchen.
Okay, move on to unfinished business, district assessment plan.
Yes, so I made the changes with the updating for gifted. I took that out, so basically through DESE, they want a specific handbook for that, so as we move forward with that, we will align to what they want if we add that as a formal program for our district. Rearrange the pre-K and K testing to be aligned to the portion of the document where it should be, and just really did some realigning and making sure that it looks the way it should. So no major changes outside of those recommendations made last month.
Entertain a motion for approval of the district assessment plan.
So, I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carries. 2025-2026 budget amendment.
So we did the exact same thing last year at this time when we talked about the lease purchase, and we had to make a budget amendment to add it to the budget. This is the exact same thing for the tax anticipation note, so we'll approve this and then we'll update the budget to align to that. So why this helps is instead of having it incorrect all year, we'll fix this now, and then whenever we're audited at the end of the year, we can show the budget amendment, everything will be correct. So that's what it looked like.
Entertain a motion for approval of the 25-26 budget amendment.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Move on to new business, strategic plan, goals and objectives, evaluation reports. First one is communication.
So with our communication, so our two goals, we have two goals here. Well, I guess we have one goal, we have two objectives, sorry. So the goal is just to promote, facilitate, and enhance parent, student, and community involvement in our district and educational programs. So one way of doing that is just to increase the number of parents involved in the activities that we offer here at school and keeping them informed about those. And the other one is to create partnerships with local businesses. So some ways that we gauge the success is student engagement, data from teacher lessons, student results, climate survey results, parent involvement, so how many parents we have involved in things we do at school, local and state assessment results, and Title I parent and staff surveys. Some successful programs are the benefits that we've seen over the years. We have seen an increased parental involvement in fall and spring activity night, and I know that they've changed it up the last couple of years trying to see what works best for parents. There's been a high attendance for pre-K, kindergarten, 6th grade, and 9th grade orientation. We've added an 8th grade scheduling night. We have seen an increased participation in Fast Fun ACT nights, increase in PAT activities, like Roberta was just talking about with preschool play in the park. We've expanded the art show. Last year we we titled it Art Show, but also Innovation Night, and that got a lot of parents in to see the middle school and high school activities. Miss Miller still does the Jared's Jams work experience. We have increased our internal flex program, our students working here at school. Involvement in local markets to sell student work, and I know this year, Mr. Brinsky took the mums into the community just to try to get that outreach, taking our services out, our products to town helps out. Eagle Nation News, we've added communication interns this year, and that's helped get the word out to the community. And then just this year we had the academic letter night, and we had high participation with parents. So some actions to be taken just to continue on with communication and how to get more parents and community members involved. Increased number of showcase days. Coordinate with community leaders and business and owners to formalize existing partnerships and explore new collaborations. Additional surveys, so we could survey parents and community members more. And just conduct targeted outreach initiatives, including informative workshops and family events to boost parent participation. Some other things that we've done the last couple of years, like I said, we turned the activity night into family-centered, or the elementary has. They've added the kids club at the basketball games, which does help a lot of parents that want to come watch the games, and they have the kids club in the elementary. Girls on the Move has done a variety of things: turkey trot, color run. This year they did the haunted trail. The senior night / decision day, which is what we've did that in the past, and we're going to change it up a little bit this coming year, but same idea, just making it a little bit different. Freshman scheduling with parents during spring semester, so bring those parents in and have them kind of help their student figure out their 4-year plan. The career fair. Community business leaders have come into the consumer math class. Added podcasting. Sports U has been, we've added that for the coaches to be able to reach out to their parents of their athletes to keep the communication more streamlined with that. And KC Chirps, which is what Ms. Setzer is doing in the elementary to get some information out to parents.
Do you get results from surveys very well?
Last year we didn't have the best results, but I think it was because there was a lot of questions. So I think that as admin team, we've talked about making the questions not as long and the survey not as long, because people aren't going to sit and take a survey that has 50 questions. So we just kind of want short and sweet, and what do we want to know? So I think as an admin team, we've talked about that today, trying to make the survey to answer the questions that we really want to know the answers to, and so they'll take it.
In the past, surveys didn't go very far. A lot of people didn't do them.
Move on to safety.
Safety, yes. So the goal for safety from our strategic plan is provide and maintain appropriate functional and safe facilities, and the objective is 1, the district will house all programs in safe, accessible, and well-maintained areas in accordance with all local, state, and federal regulations. Last legislative session, really focused on safety. So there's a lot of things that were required of school districts to maintain. Lucky for us, we've had Mr. Goodhouse for the last several years serving in that role, and in doing so has gone to a lot of trainings, and basically what the trainings and the recommendations that we've taken on through the last 4 or 5 years are now what they've required school districts to do. So we've been ahead of the curve in that because of his guidance and making sure that we're following what's best practice. So that was great that we were able to do those things. Measuring success for the program, just records of inspection, meetings, and drills. So we're required to do all the different drills throughout the year. We document that actually through a Google Calendar now to ensure that everyone's on the same page and that there's some accountability to that, so that's gone great. Surveys of students, parents by Northeast District Supervisor for DESE. So we are required for our MSEP reviewed and for best practice to do those surveys. We currently use the Department of Education survey. We did it twice last year. And like you said, it's varying degrees of how much participation you get, whether you get staff or students or parents, as we've done it at all levels. So we're looking for a way to really streamline that process and make it shorter, burst and do it when they're in person, and perhaps we get better participation, maybe at parent-teacher conferences or whatever it might be for parents. So that's what we're looking at, because our numbers aren't great on a lot of different areas, so how reliable is information? So we're just trying to boost those numbers as high as we can, and then maybe make it shorter, really refine the questions. We don't need to ask the same question 3 or 4 times or different ways, just to do it in a more efficient way. But we really depend on the survey, so it's really important information. Successes of the programs we've had so far. Plans and trainings are updated as required by law. Parents agree or strongly agree that all students feel physically safe at school. Students feel safe at school. Say they feel safe at school. Students understand how to respond in emergencies. Students know how to react and report dangerous behavior and bullying, and staff and faculty feel safe at school. And that's through that survey, and that's probably the most information that we have, the most important information that we have as a school district, to ensure that that is in place, that it's accurate, and that we maintain those as our main, priorities. Going back to understand how to respond to emergencies, that's been a huge focus for us as we've gone through that. Really simplifying that process, and we won't go through the nuts and bolts on it, but basically there's 4 or 5 commands that really hit every scenario that you have. Rather than having a fire drill, now we have evacuate, which is going to be the same process for everything, and you can evacuate a lot of different scenarios. So not specific to, say, a fire drill, you're going to evacuate and everyone's going to head outside of the school. So that's really been simplify the process so everyone knows how to respond. Recommended changes for the program: expand casualty care training for teachers and staff. So Nurse Kathy, for instance, was responsible for the Stop the Bleed, the tourniquet kit that we have by the computer lab. And now that she's gone, we need to be trained in having that and have a stronger team for that. So that'll be a focus for us moving forward. Include local first responders, community, and incident command headquarters in a tabletop exercise. We've tried to do that several different
What is
times.
that? Explain that.
A tabletop.
Mhm.
So basically going through a scenario and everyone's sitting at the table and kind of figuring out whose roles are what in a big exercise or a big event. We've tried to do it in a lot of different ways, and we can't quite get everyone here because we try to get the highway patrol, the sheriff, fire department, EMS, all the different parties involved who would have, a piece in that. So it's just hard to all kind of align in that way.
Kind of role play it, so if it actually happens,
Yep.
you're not gonna have people on top of each other.
Because the first question that one of our trainings we went to, who's in charge? So we asked everybody who's in charge. Is it gonna be the sheriff? Is it gonna be the highway patrol? Who's it going to be? And everyone's just kind of looking at each other because they never thought about it if something were to happen. And anyway, it's just great to have those conversations because you never know what's gonna happen, but at least you have a plan for it. Hope it doesn't. Established regular safety, security, communication with the community, and communication is an important piece of what we're doing. We'll continue to focus on how we can share the positive and the things working on as a school district. Actions to be taken, kind of hit on some of that. Expand casualty care, which we talked about. CPR and Stop the Bleed. So that was the cardiac response team is another thing that's required of us. We started making that group already, led by Lori Ellison, who's an athletic trainer as well. So it's great to have her on staff, and she trained every staff member before school started on CPR. Now we'll have more of a formal team if we have to respond to an event at school. Finally, changes made in the last 2 years. There's been a lot of changes with safety. I'd say some of the biggest ones: the crisis plan, the behavior risk assessment team. That's something we started last spring, and it's been a huge shift in how we operate, especially when we're talking about students' behavior. And if something were to happen, we all get together. We talked about it a couple times in here, but the entire from elementary, high school, and district level, we all get together and talk about what is the best pathway moving forward. So we're all aligned in what we're doing. So the decision making is pretty uniform from kindergarten through senior year. Obviously age appropriate, but that's really been our pathway there. So that's been a huge shift for us.
One quick question,
Mhm.
has there been any discussion about with Keith and him transitioning into politics as far as who would step into the role as a district secretary?
Yeah, we're trying to avoid that conversation. No, we've talked to Keith about it. Obviously if he's elected, he would have to step down, and we've talked about what that could look like, because it was perfect for him because he's able to come in and out and has the flexibility to do that. But basically What we've talked about is really defining what the expectations are for the position and offer a stipend to someone who's willing to take that on. It's not necessarily something you have to do during the school hours, but there's a lot of just organizing and communicating that has to take place. So I think it just has to be the right person who has, I mean, it's a passion of Keith's, it has to be a passion for the next person as well, and move forward. So hopefully, if it will open up, we'll post that and kind of give everyone an opportunity to get their name in.
Maybe he'll give us a suggestion.
Yep. This worked out great.
I would suggest you get your job description draft going.
Right. No, we've been working on it, yes. Yeah. Because the state of Missouri says you have to have two, but we'll have one at the top, and then from there we'll have some people underneath, but yep,
So can you tie that in with the LEPC, Local Emergency Planning Commission?
we could.
Cause that's like usually a pretty free service.
Yeah.
And they do all those tabletop exercises.
So we've worked together on some of those things, so it's just hard for the schools. So what we just went to is the I Love You Guys, that's who does a lot of our trainings, their reunification process, and Boone County, they're all going to the, oh my gosh, their fairgrounds. Everybody in Boone County, so Centralia goes there, Hallsville goes there, everyone goes there, and they manage all of it. The school district just buses everyone there. So it was great to see that unity in their approach, and they really took a heavy lift off the school districts and knowing like they have the manpower to do that. We don't have the manpower that Boone County has, but we can maybe work in, some capacity of working together, or even
It
Oh,
won't
different.
be the same.
Different school districts, we talked about different school districts doing the same thing,
Yeah.
because, I mean, Scotland County, we're all in the same boat. I mean, we don't have a ton of people, but we could all definitely have some knowledge that can help one another. It's not knowledge of the kids as much as just knowledge of the process and supporting and helping to that incident.
Any other questions? Not entertain a motion to approve the strategic plan goals and objectives evaluation reports.
I'll second
In favor? Opposed, motion carries. Local model compliance plan for special education.
Okay, so this is usually, done earlier in the year, but they've made some changes to it this year. I outlined, on the document that is, attached to the agenda what the change was, so I'll go through that with you in just a second. I will tell you that, we're probably gonna have to do this again in the spring, because they're working on some other things right now, so, we'll probably have to do this again. What they're currently looking at that's not approved yet is transitions and moving transition plans down to 8th grade. So 14, yeah, so now those will be happening in the middle school, which, to listen to my MoPALS consultant, it used to be that way, and then they moved it, and now they're moving back, much like education, we go back and forth. So the local compliance plan is this really big document from DESE, that you can go with what DESE says, you can modify it, you can come up with your own. Most districts go with what DESE says. And so the change that is noted in here right now is the category of young child with developmental delay, also known as YCDD. And so what that has done is it has gone up in a year. So prior to this change, it was from age 3 to 6, now it's age 3 to 7. So it's just extending that students who have the categorization of YCDD can continue that on through age 7. And so one of the things that we have to do in the compliance document is we have to indicate how we as a district are going to move forward with that. So there's 2 spots in here, so it just says, this agency has approved the policy, selected the following check mark method to determine eligibility for children aged 3 through 5, not yet kindergarten eligible, and so you only check one. So there's a box that says identify all children as eligible using any of the disability categories other than language impairment, including that of YCDD. So it's saying that we can still screen them. YCDD is not the only thing that they can be qualified in. They can be qualified in other areas as well. And then there's another one that says for a child with a disability who becomes eligible for kindergarten age 5 before August 1 or 1st grade, this agency has chosen the following checkmark method to determine continuing eligibility for special education only check one. So continue a child as eligible using YCDD or apply any other disability if would be. So I can pass this around if you'd like to see what I've checked, but this just stays with us. There's a document that we have to sign, but this just stays here. Then when they make the new change, then we'll have a new change that we have to sign as well. Any questions about that?
Not entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Setting filing dates for April 7th, 2026 election.
I'll just read the motion here. Motion is to set the dates for the Board of Education candidate filing for 3 positions to begin December 9th, 2025 from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and to end December 30th, 2025 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. All other days to file will be regular business hours from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Filing will not occur on any days the district superintendent's office is closed due to inclement weather. Filing will not occur from December 22nd, 2025 through December 29th, 2025 due to the superintendent's office being closed for the holidays.
Motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Opposed, motion carries.
I move we adjourn the regular session and go into closed session for the purpose of considering the students under section 16.021, subsection 6 and 14 RSMO, personnel under section 610.021, subsections 3 and 13 RSMO. So moved.
Mrs. Deal?
Yes.
Mrs. Jansen?
Yes.
Mrs. Devlin?
Yes.
Dr. Strange?
Yes.
Mr. Doss?
Yes.
Mrs. Prim?
Yes.